But what were some of the challenges as far as, you're I mean, obviously flying at night, you don't have a radar, you're not talking on the radio, everything is dark, you're alone and afraid. But when you're getting into the target area, can you kind of describe, as a fighter pilot, what is going on, what you're having to do? Because you're working a lot with your nugget down, trying to figure out where the target is. And it's not like the modern day targeting pods we have, which even still can be a challenge of picking out your target. You kind of tell everyone what's going through and what it's taking in order to go fly that mission.
Sure. So the airplane was modded during the time I was there, but during the combat mission, we had not yet gotten to the auto throttle mod. So you're having to moderate your speed by yourself, and the you had a big screen right in front of the design was not that great in that respect. So you had this big screen that was your downward and forward looking infrared screen, and you could go. We had a stack of pictures for the target area, and so it was kind of this big to small thing. You're kind of your own fac. Okay, so here's the target, but okay, see the town. Yep, see the town. All right, see the river. Yep, see the third bridge. Yep, okay, go three streets over, fourth house down, kind of stuff. So we were literally counting streets and houses and buildings to find these targets, and so you start off on the forward-looking infrared, which is a pretty big picture, and then you were waiting for it. It would hand off to the downward-looking infrared, which has a better view. So the issue is that the bottom of the airplane's not flat, right? It's kind of like the bottom of a boat, and the downward-looking infrared sensor sat on one side. So if you started to drift off the target and you banked, you could actually take the target completely out of the field of view. So you ran IP to target on the autopilot, and you're steering the airplane with the cursor, and it knew what the limits were, so it wouldn't let you gimbal out of the field of view of the target.
Really?
So the whole key was to get the weapon in the basket. So you had to be pretty close by the time it was ready to release. You consent for release. You hear the doors open. You feel the bombs come off. You see the doors close. There's flashy lights in the cockpit that tell you all this. And now you are trying to hold that cursor on the target throughout the bomb's time of fall so that you get the best accuracy. So these were GBU 10s and GBU 27s. So the 27 was designed for the 117. It's a Paveway 3 kit. So it had the what we call proportional guidance, where the 10s had the bang bang guidance. But oftentimes we do what we call dual door deliveries, where we drop both of them. We might carry 110 and 127. So what you do is you drop the 10 first, and then a few milliseconds later, the 27 would come off. The 27 would pass the 10 in flight, and it would make a hole in the shelter, and then you drop the 10 inside the hole and scramble everything. I actually have a picture on my wall here somewhere of a dual door delivery with two bombs coming out of the jet.
And I guess it's so close too. Obviously, by the time you get the bomb to go off, I mean, it's milliseconds from impact, so you're not worried about losing the laser spot or anything like
Well,
that.
so it's about a 30-second time of fall, roughly.
Okay.
So from the time you drop the weapon until impact, about 30 seconds. But the because the bombs are so close together, you're right. They're both seeing the laser, and they're kind of on a physics no, you can't disrupt my inertia trajectory, so they're going to go in the hole. And the thing was just super accurate. You could put a 2,000 pounder in a toilet from 25,000 feet every time.
That's what I dropped several GBU 12s, and those things were nail drivers.
Mhm.
We had 38s and 54s as options as well. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I ended up always, at least in the beginning, last point, just dropping GPU 12s. And those suckers, I mean, they were good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
it's magic stuff.
Yeah. So there are a lot of really smart people out there that made some impressive stuff.
Well, when they were putting these the 2,000 pounders in the 117. So when a GBU 27 was in the bomb bay, you could you could slide a piece of paper between the seeker head and the front of the bomb bay, but that was about it. And when they first started doing the separation test, they kept banging into the jet. And so some guy said, "Well, when we open the doors, we're going to deploy these two little pieces of metal with holes cut in them. They look like Swiss cheese." And it disrupted the air just enough to keep them from getting venturied into the airplane. I mean, simple stuff like that, that somebody goes, "Oh, yeah, we can fix that."
You know, it's crazy too that yeah, that's such a simple fix, but yeah, I mean, the fact that we're able to actually implement it, like obviously it's a need. Like this nice
Mhm.
multi-million dollar stealth fighter is completely useless if you can't drop weapons from it. So I guess there's the need, you can make it happen pretty quick. But everything else seems to take like years to get done.
Well,
Like this.
we had some really extra help. So when we moved to Holloman, we had one Skunk Works contractor for about every two tail numbers,
Okay.
and he was just the guy. He was the fixer, right? So I come back one night and the moon had been out, and I'm like, he goes, "Hey, how'd the flight go?" And I go, "I had a hard time seeing my displays because of the moonlight." And he goes, "Huh." So I come out the next night, there's the guy again, and he had installed these, we call them elephant ears. They were these flaps that you could flap down over your displays that would shade it from the moonlight. And so I flew that. I go, hey, this was great. Well, the next day, all the jets had them. There's no paperwork. There was no Mother May I. Didn't have to go through Air Force Materiel Command to do it. The guy just went, I got a fix for that.